I'm a Friday to Friday audience. I watch everything. You can wake me up in the middle of the night and put me in front of a film, I'll watch it.
You are a TG for your own industry. What was your cinema paradiso moment when you felt like, I want to make films for the rest of my life?
Cinema paradiso moment was actually a cinema paradiso moment. So I used to work in a art cinema when I was a student in Cambridge, and it was called Cambridge Art Cinema. It was the oldest cinema in Europe, and when it shut down, lots of filmmakers used to come there. There used to be lots of screenings of films, art house films, normal films, commercial films. And so I was so young, I was mesmerized by that kind of world and camaraderie and all these creative people. So it finally shut down, and the last film on public demand was Cinema Paradiso. And I thought, this cannot end, because I felt I was having the best time of my life working in that cinema. I used to be in the box office. As a box office ticket person. So I had at least a natural aptitude for theatre and scripts. Since childhood I was doing that. So my Cinema Paradiso moment was within Cinema Paradiso.
That's beautiful. So I didn't even know this before I put this question in. So
yeah, when I read the question, I was thinking, how did they know?
How do you describe your genre?
I would say my film genre is definitely family. Even in my first film, Mere Dad Ki Maruti, even though it was a bromance and it was a story about two boys who were looking for the lost car, but actually because the son was scared that his father will, murder him because he lost the brand new car in which his sister was supposed to go as a Doli gift. So in the end, it is about family and how every family has their own dynamics.
I want to talk about your last film. Tell me about it. How did you decide picking up the story of Mrs. Chatterjee?
Again, I believe a lot in serendipity, and I feel what is meant to you, the cosmos just sends it. I got a call from a friend one morning saying that, we have a story here which I think you should take a look at because this is totally up your alley. And I thought, okay, I read so many scripts, but when I read that, it was a manuscript. And when I read it, I thought, this is absolutely not possible. How is it a real story? And because I had remembered the incident, even when it happened, I could see the film in my head. I just knew this is it.
I agree. I think it was a true story, like a lot of other true stories, but there was something about that film that just stands apart because of how, you keep feeling like, how is this possible? Like you said,
yes.
How can this happen to somebody?
Yes. And, that was also the force that kept pushing me throughout, and also the, the energy of the real mother who has borne it. Yeah. And I was in touch with her throughout just to keep double checking everything with her that I wasn't getting anything wrong. Also, when you pick up a real story, you want to be careful because there are children involved, and they are, they're living beings. They're going to grow up and they're going to watch the film, and they're going to see their mother, they're going to see themselves, they're going to see their family, they're going to see their childhood. One has to be very careful when one does these kind of stories. So, you cannot, it has to be done correctly, politically correctly and emotionally correctly.
And how did you convince Rani to do this film?
I have been a huge fan of Rani. I think her understanding of the film genre and her variety of roles that she has performed, I have been taken in by each one of them. And when I was working on the script, it was there in my head that this film is written for Rani because it's a Bengali mother. There is nobody else other than Rani who can do justice to just the Bengali mother part.
And what was the research process like?
I had to do a lot of research on law, different kinds of laws within Norway, then Europe, then what happens as things escalate. If Norwegian authorities are not able to solve some problems, then how does it go to the next, and then it becomes a human rights problem. So when you make a film like this, you have to know your politics and know your law properly, because you cannot go wrong. Eventually there was, we had to meet with the Norwegian ambassador and everything. They were very curious as to what is this Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway? Why is our whole country being involved and pulled in? So I think that is a victory of the film, that it makes the audience also and the countries also sit up and look at their own laws and look at what they're doing, to the immigrant children, and to become culturally sensitive and to realize that different cultures, choose to bring up their children in different ways. There is no right way. There's no school for motherhood.
So when one is writing a story which is sensitive like this, or any story actually, does it matter that men are writing women's role versus women writing women's role? Does that change anything about a film?
There is a different gaze and an angle. There's a different style in writing. There's no better or there's no worse. If you're a good, writer for murder mysteries, you don't have to be a murderer yourself, or you don't have to be a police yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be a good writer to get the nuances right, to get the emotions right, to get the feelings right. So I feel, yeah, of course, you'll be privy to a lot of things being a mother, like I was, to a lot of things. Like, I felt it was very daring of Rani, to do all the pumping scene, the breastfeeding scenes, and to know how to shoot them, because I'm a woman, I'm a mother.
Tell me, what are the actors that you like working with in general, that you see that the future of Hindi cinema is going to go to?
Rani, definitely one of them. I think she has way more ahead of her than behind her. And I'm a huge fan of Ranbir. I worked with him also when I was in ED, and I think his choice of script is so unique, whether if it's the recent Animal or Rockstar. Alia, I think she has a fantastic range. She's so young and so full of life, and in every film I'm seeing a different side to her. Again, to have that range of performance is incredible. They're gifted.
As a director, do you think OTT is enough for you to get your film out there to the audiences, or do you still dream of the big screen? Is that still even something that fascinates a director of today?
It's a fantastic experience when people go into the hall. I might be sitting next to someone I will never ever know in my life. His ideology might not match mine, his age group might not match mine, we don't know what his pronouns are, but we are all watching the same film, reacting to it. I think theatres are going to be back in a big way, and for me, I have worked as an assistant director for films that have come out on screen. I've done a lot of work for OTT, but I think films should be watched on in the theatre. It's the experience. It's wonderful.
But why do you think it's taking so much time for the audiences to go back?
There are different parts of your heart that get satisfied when you're watching TV or when you're watching film. I don't think they can be the same experience. So you can be watching TV. I think I was fed up of watching TV in my house during the pandemic. I was like, please, I want to go to the hall. You don't give me popcorn, it's okay. But I want to get in the hall and enjoy the sound and feel the film I'm watching. I think that there is no other way to enjoy a film.
Where do you think the future of Hindi cinema lies?
I think the kind of topics that are being made right now are fantastic. I think the gamut of, as you said, minds are opening up. The choices of stories that people are picking up are so varied.
Which one did you enjoy the most of late?
There are many actually I've enjoyed of late. I'm a Friday to Friday audience, so I watch everything. You
are a TG for your own industry.
I
must
am.
say that.
I am. You can wake me up in the middle of the night and put me in front of a film, I'll watch it.
Okay, so what is next for you now?
I'm working on something funny.
Comedy?
Yes, because I've done a lot of work in comedy, a lot of family comedies. I love comedies, I love sports films. So, yeah, I'm working on that, and please come to the hall to watch it.